Welcome to the webinar, everyone. It's so great to have you here and to be here. And I see some happy faces that I know and love very much. So thank you for your support. I'm your host, Diane Young Sussman, and I hope you receive everything that you came here for today and everything that, even more, even more. So this is a place of coming home to the self and being really in a place of abundance within our own being. And my desire is to inspire you to bring some calm into your busy life. We have so much out in the world in terms of polarity and noise and craziness. So this hopefully will catalyze a bit of inspiration for you and maybe some awareness about what comes next for you as well. So I am going to attempt to share my screen and give you a little bit of a true webinar feeling and experience. And then at the end of the time together, we can open it up for questions, which I would love to hear from each and every one of you. So Burke says he's having some connection issues. Okay, so there will be a replay in case things go, awry. And just know that you could tune into it later if you want to. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. And today's webinar is called Living Your Life by Design, Creating from Love and Abundance. So can you all see my screen pretty well? Okay, very good. So, I just spoke about this troubled world that we're in, and I don't want to make a big deal of it, but we hold ourselves always in the context of the culture in which we live. And things can, there are times when there is a lot of polarization, and I would say that this time in our world is one of those times, and we need to, just honor that and be aware of that. So in this time and all the dissonance that we have seen in our lives, what we can do is really connect deeply with the self. And I'm calling this, and Burke will smile when he hears this because it comes from our dear friend Rick Jarrow, that mysterious center. We can close our eyes, and I invite you to do so even in this moment, to close your eyes and allow yourself to just come fully present into the space, into the room. And just feel as if we were all holding one another in a circle of love. Say we were in the outer circle and that there is a space in the center, which is very, very connected. It's connected to each one of us, but it is also us. As if you were holding your hands into the center to feel into like a pillar of light that begins very gently, as if you were just lighting a candle. And then that light opens into the darkness and starts to shed more and more openness and more light into the space and into you as well. So as you're sensing your place here and your feet on the floor, you can really open to that connection of your own beingness, your own self. And take a breath. And as you take a breath, just listen to the sound of the bell. Freeing your mind making a deep, deep connection to the whole of you. Nowhere to go and nothing to do, but just coming home to that place, that center in your very, very own heart. And in this place, we come really to a place of greater resiliency, a sense of greater wisdom. And you can open your eyes now and just with me imagine yourself moving through the unknown remembered gate. This is from a poem from T.S. Eliot, where the last of life yet to discover is that which is the beginning. And we come to that place to know it as if for the first time. And so we have these tools. We are here for greater wisdom and resilience and peace. But somehow a lifetime of struggle has kept us from the exploration which is truly, truly your birthright. And so I invite you to walk to this place together and feel the freedom and the abundance and the grace that is possible for you in this place. And we can listen and come home more fully to ourselves in this place. So my desire for you is to, in this webinar, get just a little bit closer, a little bit closer to that place where in your own center, you're able to stop and notice how you're feeling in your body. And that maybe you've taken some action towards change and to release some stress. But that we could come a little closer and feel that light within us just a little bit more. So I want to take this moment and just let you know a little bit about me and really how I've come to this place and understand it to be important. And so I had an experience growing up of, not really having much of a voice in my family. And it's taken a journey for me in kind of a long, meandering way to really fully come into finding my center and finding my voice and knowing what my truth is and what my passion is in this world. I consider myself now a life energy catalyst for artists and entrepreneurs and coaches. But the thing that is so, so valuable is that we know that we are 100% able to completely fulfill our destiny path in our lives. And that sometimes we just need a little bit of coaxing or some tools and strategies along our way to do so. And that's really what we're here for or here through in this time. So what is that unknown remembered gate for you? Do you remember your beginnings? When you were a young child, maybe running and skipping through the grass? This to me is an image of and a memory of true abundance. So I ask yourself, what is abundance for you? What is a release for you into that freedom and joy and play and breath? What does abundance mean for you? For me, it's something about letting go and letting things be. and really trusting. But something that is very, very bright and beautiful that could emerge out of a place that maybe we don't have much of a tangible understanding of at first. I'm thinking of my sister-in-law who, every time we go for a walk in nature, she'll pick up these little rocks and feathers. And I don't even notice that she's doing it, but she's an artist. And when she comes home, she displays this beautiful, meticulous, joyful presence of all the little treasures that have just come up in her experience. And then she puts them together into some kind of art form. She'll actually draw them. That to me is a beautiful expression of abundance. Yeah. So now I'll ask you to think about what your image of abundance might be. Or actually, let's go further and say, what does self-mastery mean to you? Is it physical? Achieving maybe your best body and athletic fitness? What is your goal? Is it having an ability to, lose some weight or to release a burden of the past? You could get a clue for this if you ask yourself, what has weighed heavy on me in this last year? So for some of us, it is physical, having an illness perhaps, or just not feeling quite well. For some of us, it's psychophysical. But just to put it in that perspective, we are great psychophysical beings of great life and potential. And sometimes we don't see that light. Sometimes we burden ourselves, but sometimes life burdens us. And what you ask yourself in this moment is, am I ready and willing more to embrace my journey of healing? And what would that look like for me? It's going to be different for every person. Sometimes it's being in a circle of love with other people. And that's why I started our session today. Just imagining this group right now today coming together in a circle, having our voices be heard, having ourselves be seen. And it's from that place, I believe, that we can dig in more deeply into those shadows, those places that have to be uncovered. So here is a beautiful poem written by my dear friend Rick Jarrow, that life is a work of art, a craft to be carefully mastered. For presence has replaced time, and you are your own destination. So today we can ask ourselves, where did your inner artist get blurred, if it did? When you no longer felt that you had a way to express yourself or your creativity. Perhaps your voice got obscured, or somebody was always talking in front of you, or, God forbid, yelling over you. And we ask ourselves, has my voice been obscured? And how can I bring that back? So, my suggestion for you is to first come back, come present. We're moving stealthily away from struggle and into our own embodiment. It is in the body that we want to come present in the breath, slowing down. Because peace isn't an abstract concept. It is right here in the body in this moment. And you can ask yourself, what do I feel? What is coming up for me right now? Can I feel a little bit more ease in this moment? It might not be transformation in the big picture, but it's a beginning. It's like a seed of change. And from there, we can ask ourselves, what is a life lived by design? And that's really the title of my webinar today. How can we create, how can we craft a life of design, of our own design, that's truly our own, and not shrinking away and contracting ourselves to fit a mold of our current cultural conditioning. And that is big, because sometimes that is hundreds of years old, that conditioning. That conditioning comes through the family lineage. It's the stories that we've been told, and it's the attitudes and the way of being, the way of shaming, actually. If you came from a family where there was a lot of guilt and shame, this is the kind of thing that we're describing, that I'm describing for you. So a life by design, first of all, is simply to honor what is happening in your life. I call that taking 100% responsibility for everything, and then letting that settle so that you know that you're in the driver's seat and you are the leader of your own life, and nobody else has jurisdiction for what that is. And then you can ask yourself, what can I do maybe a little bit differently? Maybe with just a little bit more kindness or gentleness or thoughtfulness. What could get me out of habit? I spend a lot of time talking about habit in one of the great tools that I have, which is called the Alexander Technique, that really brings us present into the body and allows us to become very aware of what is. And some of that is just physical tension, right? But become aware of how we're viewing things and how we're seeing things in our lives. So again, what do you think is a life lived by design? And we could just take a moment and just take a few deep breaths, giving yourself time to ask that question. What is a life lived by design for me? I know that I've spent a lot of my time, my life, being a people pleaser. And it's not that I didn't know what I wanted, but based on my own personality and nature, I felt like that was the only way that I could respond to my environment, my family, my world. And as I started to do my own deep inner work of really feeling it into the space of my own body and my own being, things started to shift for me, where maybe I was still activating that people pleaser, but something else was coming in also. And that was finding and standing in my power. And really knowing my own boundaries and learning how to discern what was mine and what was someone else's, so that I didn't really have to live somebody else's life but my own. And then things started to shift and change. Truly, truly, we do need and wish for a place of grounding in our creativity. And that it'll be different for every person. It could be dance. It was dance for me. It could be art. It's art for you, Dina. Music. So the arts really help us to be able to find some self-expression. But your artistic life can just be the way you set up your day. And that's what I also mean about creating your life by design. That your life by design is how you actually make your breakfast in the morning. You know, the dishes that you choose, how you wash the dishes after the breakfast is completed. It can be on that level where you're bringing all of your love and your care to what you want to craft and create. And then from there, that is a way that we are taking small acts of change that grow, that become bigger. And that also, in terms of responsibility, is saying that I'm the one that's crafting my life, as in the poem. That presence has replaced time. That presence has replaced time. And we become our own destination. So I believe that it is in choosing to live with intention, having done and continuing to master first all those little voices. I call them the gremlins, the little gremlins inside. Some of us have those gremlins stronger than others. But all together, what happens is a way that we are resisting ourselves. It's a way that we actually, now this is an energetic, it's not really a metaphor, it's a reality, but energetically what we're doing is we're actually contracting our field. So the resistance that we feel to what is, say we've been diagnosed with, a serious illness, for example. That's kind of extreme, but whatever it is that's coming up for us, if we push it away and not acknowledge and see the reality of everything that's there, we don't have enough to work with because we've contracted our field. And energetically what's happening within the chakra system is from the root chakra up to the fifth chakra, everything gets stifled and pushed down. We no longer have access to the potential, the ability that we have for regeneration. It's a really, really deep healing concept. And also what happens in this example of being diagnosed with a serious illness is that we move into fear. And once you're in fear, that's another form of contraction of the field. If you've ever heard that saying, fear is false evidence appearing real, one of my favorite lines, because as false evidence appearing real, we follow the false evidence instead of what's really available to us. And as we move back into our power and really stand into our strength and into the body itself, we have that ability, we have the tools to come back, to come slowly back if necessary, but to come back in our own timing, to what is more available to us, what is more, what is going to actually create the healing. And then from there, we do the hard work. And the hard work is actually opening the doorways. So in my presentation in Doorways to the Self, I talked about 7 inner doorways that you can open to your own inner temple, the temple of beauty, I'm calling it. You could easily and also call that center, the inner temple, love. That place of the mystery, that center that is the center of you, which opens out in all directions like the beautiful opening of a rose, as the rose is, the petals of the rose are gently opening and all that perfume starts to exude. That comes from having cultivated life for a very long time, and the ability that we have within our own nature to do so. So I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. And what I'm going to share with you is actually the doorways to the self, or the doorways to the inner temple, are very similar to the energy centers that we have within our own central channel in our bodies. And that is what they call the Sushumna, which is the centered channel of our chakra system. And the chakras are, the chakra actually means wheel, but they're vortexes or energy centers which are very interconnected with our endocrine system. So it's very physiologically within the body that we actually hold these centers. So my 7 doorways to the self are very connected to the 7 chakras within the body. Now in this particular example or picture, there's only 5 centers that you can see. So we have to use our creativity and see the red center at the very, very bottom of the spine. That's your root chakra. And then see the top, or the crown chakra, which actually moves into the stars, right? It moves upward into the sky so that the sky itself, the solar system, the galaxy can really move within you. And the whole idea is to open your chakras, open all of them. And I want you to just gaze with me for the moment into this central chakra where this orange lotus lives, and see all the light around it. And here is a key for regeneration, for healing, and for crafting your life by design. And I call that living within the heart, living from the heart. So what is the heart chakra? It's that spiritual energy center that lives behind the sternum, and it's a doorway. It's a doorway to yourself. It's a doorway to your healing. It's a doorway to the temple within. It's a place of peace, of compassion. It's a place of beauty. And it is love emanating from you as you. And we can sit in that center and open from within to the greater nature. It is such a golden key to opening your consciousness, to becoming free and present within your being, and to shine your light out into the world so that you're not obscuring and pulling down and pulling within and losing yourself. It is the key to your presence and the fullness of who you are. It is also the way that we get to communicate with others, so that you don't have to know what to say or when to say it. You don't have to say the right thing, be the right thing, do the right thing. All you have to do is be you. And it's you within the wholeness of you, wherever it is that you are today. There's nothing more. And it should give you a feeling of great confidence and great wholeness and great beingness. And that heart center actually lives into the place of greater self-knowing and self-being. But let's go now to the very root, the first doorway, the root chakra. And it's a sense, and you can place your hands, if you wish, right below at the bottom of the belly where the legs enter into the hip joints. You can put your feet on the floor and just feel the roots of you, like beautiful red glistening roots going down, down, down into your feet, just into the center of the earth. Mama Gaia, Pachamama, really trusting that place, that deep, deep trust of self. And take a breath in that place. And now we'll move up into the belly area. In the picture it's showing as a beautiful green. I think of it more of an orange glowing light, that place of belonging. Imagine what it would feel like to you if everywhere you went, you had a feeling that you belong. That you belong. And take a breath. And then we move up into the place just below the ribs, above the belly button. You can place a hand on your high belly. It's just below the rib cage. And just breathe into that space. I love breathing into this space because whenever I feel insecure in any way, or feel like I'm not really sure, where I feel a little anxiety bubbling up, I can put my hand on that belly area and remind myself that this is the place of focus. This is the place of directed action. I can focus my intention here. It comes from me. It does not come from the outside. And take a breath. And then we've come already to the heart. So if you wish to just bring your hands to both hands to your heart for a moment, close your eyes, relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Feel that opening, that light, that beauty that comes from within, outward. And then we'll bring the hand up into the throat. I love putting my hands on my throat. It's such a soft and vulnerable area. You can bring your hands to the side of your neck and the back of the neck, and you can really feel how much constriction we actually have in this area. It's a very delicate part of the body. And what would it feel like to open this area, to relax and unclench the jaw, to free and release the throat. And feel the sound of the voice coming out, whether it's a whisper or whether it's a sound. It's you. It's your sound. It's your voice. It's your creativity. It's your beauty as it's moving into the head centers. And take a breath. And then lastly, we're going to let's bring our hands up into the one hand in the forehead, one hand to the back of the head, really feeling the presence of your head as it's balancing and resting on the top of the spine. Placing your one hand on the forehead and one hand on the top of your head. We're opening two doorways here, the inner vision in the 6th chakra and the 7th chakra, which is really the open space into the cosmos. Freeing yourself to live up into the open space above you. And take a breath, and then just bringing your hands back down to your lap. Maybe roll your shoulders back. And now taking some time, just feeling how good it feels to be present with yourself, fully present. And then as you open your eyes, I just want to share that I am planning to do a class in July. It's not going to happen in the next few weeks, but I'm planning to do a 3-week class in which we can explore these ideas a little bit more deeply and come together to give ourselves the gift of time to feel into the body and to dream into how you would particularly want to craft your life. And let's not even say in the next 3 years, and let's not even say in the next year, but just in the next 3 months. What and how you might want to do things just a little differently so that you place yourself in the center of making yourself, your life, a work of art. So just to give you a little sense of this 3 weeks and what it will look like, in week 1, we'll enter the Temple of Beauty. And we'll do some work together and see and envision what that feels like to be in opening each of those 7 doorways. And see how that can craft a life by design, by living in intention, by opening those doorways. And some of these doorways require a little bit of character work, a little bit of character building, or I should say character releasing, to allow yourself to undo some patterns that may not have been working for you so well in your life. In week 2, we're going to work more with the body and body sense and listening to the body as a way to give you information and learning about what comes next in your life. Very experiential, and also that does not preclude the ability to listen to what it is that we're most wishing for and needing, and listening to the self. You may also have to go through a space of feeling the pain body. What I call the pain body is very emotional, the emotional pain. It's also physical pain and things that have been holding us back. So we can work with movement and we can do a little bit of exploratory creativity training in that one. And then the final week, we'll really envision a healed future for your life and create a path forward with freedom, love, and empowered commitment. So I intend to do quite a bit of laser coaching in that so that each person will be able to bring forward their vision or their idea of what comes next for them, and weaving that dream life in a space of harmony and grace and intention from the heart. Very practically, we can walk away with maybe even a 90-day plan for how you're going to manifest, where the manifestation itself becomes a juicy, rich opportunity for you. So altogether, that's 3 live sessions, and they'll be on Thursdays at noon, starting on July 11th. And it's all about crafting your life as a work of art. So I've already put in the chat actually where you can purchase this, but I'll put it here too. And the charge for this is $197. If you buy it before the end of this week, the price will go up at the end of this week to $397. So it's a real super early bird special. And I really hope that you will consider, coming to this class and getting some real transformational life coaching with me and all the other things that we can do together, and bring your questions and your visions to this space. And so that's really all that I wanted to present for you today. And I'm going to open it up at this point for some questions. Let me see if did I stop my share? Can you see me? Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and, if I can, unmute everyone. It's not my forte here. Let's see. Unmute. Yeah. Well, I guess I can't quite figure out how to unmute everyone. So if you would like to unmute yourselves, if you have anything that you want to share, and it could just be, from what we talked about today, if any questions have come up, or if you would like to ask me anything about the course coming up. And I'm going to put myself on speaker view. Dina.
Yes, the part of your talk that really resonated with me was when you talked about how illness can contract us. Because I'm going through different things, many different things at this time in my life. And I'm aware of that kind of contraction. But at the same time, resisting it, but I'm still like in a place of fear and fighting that also. Okay. But it's been very difficult. You take one step and you feel like you've gotten further away from this nonsense, and then something happens and you're getting pulled back again into a place of despair and being held up and doing what you love to do with your life, you know, or, your daily routine, your day. Like you talked about how that can be a work of art. And that's basically where I'm at right now, where I'm making my own time. I don't have any major schedules to adhere to, but I've done a great job in creating my day with the things I love. But now, because of these things that have come out, I am contracted and confused. Like, what am I, you know?
I completely hear you from this space, and I think that is exactly what we're talking about, because we can't do our work in an ideal situation, like, because life isn't ideal. Our when an illness shows itself, which I've been dealing with some illness too, um, you have to take it day by day, or sometimes hour by hour and minute by minute. And you can see that the frustration or whatever it is, my go-to is frustration. It's like, I want this to be different. I want to have my energy back. I want this to be different. And you almost feel like, Don Quixote yelling at a right, windmills. Why is this happening to me? What's going on? But that is the time, in that picture that I showed you with the chakras. It's a real, to me, it's a tool to say, okay, where can I bring more light literally into my central channel right now to work with. And even if it's just a little bit of a shift where you feel like, oh yeah, I needed more belonging in this moment. Like, you don't know what it is until you really ask the question and do the research. But the key really is to stay in the heart energy, I believe. Because from there, you can watch when you're going into contraction. And that's what I'm calling resistance, but the field shuts down in that. That is what's happening energetically, and we can't really heal ourselves from that place. It's not doable. We can drink more orange juice or take the the elixirs, but in the end, it's like sitting there and just going, wow, I wish I had more energy. Let me just sit with this. That little opening, that light gets in. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And the other thing that I was thinking of is, like, sometimes it comes from outside. Like, a doctor will give you a diagnosis, and you can watch your field contract just because of that, until we process it. And then, and processing is coming back into the present moment and going, well, I'm not dead yet, or whatever it is that, it's like, because something has gotten taken off its kilter. And until we can create that ground of being again, to open up into, that's the healing that we're talking about.
Thank you.
Um,
So,
Is there anybody else that would like to share? Um, Jean says I think probably to you, Dina, it might be useful for you to contact Darius. Oh, for me? You Wealth Revolution. He organizes summits and helps healers promote themselves. Thank you. Much love and night hugs and blessings. That came from Jean. I actually know about that summit. I mean, he's like huge in the online world. Yeah. Thank you. All right, that was fun. It sounded like it sounded like a tuning fork. Somebody brought a little energy healing into our session here.
I had just unmuted myself and the phone rang, so I
Oh,
quickly did turn
oh,
it
that's
off.
cute.
So that's what you heard.
Okay.
It's Wilma. I would like just to just share something. I'm first of all, I'm very grateful that I'm on the call live because I wasn't sure if I could make it. And when you started the process at the beginning of the call, I remember feeling very peaceful during it. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm sure that energy was shifting during that point. But then when we were doing the chakra cleansing or clearing, it was very interesting because I've been aware of for a very long time that there's energy stuck in my throat chakra that I've been um, consciously working on releasing because I don't know what it is. But it was so interesting because during the whole chakra process, when I put my hands on my throat, I was so aware of the spaciousness and clear energy. I didn't feel anything stuck anymore. So I'm so relieved that whatever it was that I'm sure initiated in the first process at the beginning of the call, during the actual chakra cleansing, I guess there was enough light coming in that it cleared whatever that stuck energy was there. So I just wanted to share that and my gratitude for it. Thank you so much.
Wilma, you're so welcome. And you know, you used actually a word of the fifth chakra, which is spaciousness. That is the experience of the throat chakra. So you definitely tuned into the inner depth of the clearing and the healing from that space. Yeah,
I've never
beautiful.
felt that before. So it was just so, the awareness was just with my hands. They're like, oh my
Mm.
goodness, there's like so much, it's so spacious. It's like there's so much space there between my hands. But by the same time, it was like, I was also thinking about how my hands fit around my neck, and I'm thinking it's a perfect fit. So something cleared for sure. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Anyone else want to share? So, so in the chat, I actually put a link to where you can purchase the class, and if it's resonating with you, I would love to have you in this class. And otherwise, I just feel so grateful that everybody has come here together to hold the space of this beautiful circle today. And you know, I'm sending you so much love, and I'll be speaking with you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Diane.
Hmm.